Yo, what's up everybody, it's your boy Elvious Void coming back with another video on the channel, which is what if Naruto was Giyuu, part 2 from Demon Slayer. So yeah, before we get into this, I would like to ask everyone to hit that like button and subscribe button, and that's pretty much it, and we'll just get into the video now. On the last part of this what if, Naruto grew up being ostracized by the village to a heavy degree, such as like in the original OG series of Naruto. But with this difference, Naruto's personality and his parents would have been a little different. As I said in the last what if, Naruto's hair would be black and would be a little long with a darker shade of blue eyes, which were very similar to his father's, as well as Naruto becoming good friends with Sasuke Uchiha. Seeing that they had a lot in common, the two boys grew very fond of each other, becoming basically brothers, with Naruto as well learning and kind of making up by himself total concentration breathing, which Naruto would be able to use this breathing technique to amplify his body even more, as well as learning total concentration, mastering this completely, as well as Naruto building upon his swordsmanship. He would have been able to start creating water breathing, and where we are at this point now, Naruto in his last year of the academy would have fully completed all 11 forms of water breathing, but still hasn't mastered them to a complete degree, but still is very proficient with the sword. With Sasuke as well, starting to build up his own breathing technique, that being flame breathing, with him now starting on his second form of the breathing technique. With that pretty much being where we left off, we'll just get right into this. With Naruto and Sasuke in their last year of the academy, Naruto would still be very stoic looking and seems to have an unbothered expression constantly on his face. But with people not knowing of his reserved personality, except for Sasuke, they would all think that he is much like Shikamaru, someone that doesn't really have any goals in life and is seemingly just going through the breeze of life. With Naruto starting to build a much better connection with Iruka, as Iruka would have been told by the third Hokage that Naruto and his childhood and all that, like the original, he would have had a much harder, well, not really much harder, but a very hard childhood, much like himself. That being, Iruka. And Iruka would have started to build a connection to Naruto, being a type of big brother type to Naruto. With Naruto as well, becoming much closer with Iruka, as well as Sasuke. With the last year of the academy coming to an end, Naruto would have mastered not mastered, but he would have been able to perform the 3 jutsus that were given for the final exam, that being the transformation jutsu, the substitution jutsu, and the clone jutsu. Because of Naruto's extremely high proficiency in water release, Naruto would have been able to perform a water clone, being able to, much similar to the second Hokage, be able to perform water type jutsus without being near to a water source, which greatly surprised the third Hokage, but not so much, as he knew that Naruto's father, Minato, was extremely proficient in the water jutsus as well as lightning and wind, with Naruto's mother being also like wind release and fire release. I don't remember their distinct releases and chakra natures. With Naruto, who during this last year would have asked the third Hokage for a few techniques on water style releases, but wouldn't have gone far in them, as they didn't suitably connect with his swordsmanship and his swordsmanship style that he is creating. Instead, putting this all towards different defense maneuvers like the water clone, water wall, and other proficient defense jutsus. With Sasuke, who doesn't have as much chakra as Naruto, he would be able to perform the basic clone jutsu, which is just an illusion. With Naruto, coming up to the end of the year, he would have mastered all these 3 jutsu that were necessary for the final exam, as well as becoming much more studious in his last year, studying as much as he can with Sasuke to become extremely intelligent like what he is before. Naruto is able to kind of not predict, but pick up on the traits of people and know what they're thinking. Seeing the hatred or confusion or love in someone's personality on the way that they act. And because Naruto is so studious, he'd be able to get top marks in all of his tests, being similar to Sasuke in that regard. We're just going to skip to the end of the year with the final exam. With Iruka coming into the class on the last day, he would tell the class that this will be the final exam to decide if they become genin or not. With all the other Naruto and Sasuke's teammates going to the, not teammates, classmates, going in and doing their original test, all of them, like the original, would pass or fail, leaving the original, that being, the original class, Konoha 12, to pass the final exam, well, not final exam, but the genin test in the academy. With Naruto going in, Mizuki would tell Naruto, as well as Iruka, that he needs to perform the 3 jutsus. With Naruto forming a water clone beside him, that would greatly confuse Mizuki, who didn't know of Naruto's adept in water-style jutsus, and didn't know that Naruto was able to perform a clone jutsu, a physical type clone jutsu, something that he isn't able to do himself, as he doesn't have a lot of chakra, as well as a great nature release. With Iruka smiling, ticking off one of the boxes, Naruto would also perform the transformation jutsu, having the clone transform into Iruka, who is standing there, amazed at Naruto's proficiency with these jutsus. And the substitution jutsu, that would be very simple for Naruto. With the test being finished, Naruto would be given his headband and would walk out of the building, greeting Sasuke on his way out as they all walk home. We'll skip to the next day, as Naruto wouldn't have been persuaded by Mizuki, as he realized that Naruto, who, as he's seen throughout the years, is exceptionally strong, and there's no way that he would be able to manipulate the boy to such a high regard, and would decide to steal the scroll of sealing by himself, but would be inevitably caught by the Anbu members that are stationed protecting the Hokage Tower. With Mizuki now being tried for trying to leave the village and being a traitor, he would be executed, leaving the one teacher now gone, and the situation with Naruto finding out about his Jinchuriki status wouldn't happen. With the next week going on as usual, Naruto and Sasuke would continue to train, but as the week came to the end, Naruto and Sasuke would have to go back to the academy to see where they will be stationed in teams. With Naruto and Sasuke not knowing how the teams would be fully orientated, it's the dead last and the top Konoichi and top ninja overall would be in the same team. That wouldn't happen in the original. With Naruto and Sasuke walking into the classroom, they would sit next to each other, but before they can start, just sit down, Sakura as well as Ina would burst through the door, shouting at the top of their lungs to try sit next to Sasuke. But with them running up to Sasuke and, well, basically Sasuke, not really Naruto, Sakura would immediately tell Naruto to get up out of the seat, as she wishes to sit next to Sasuke. But with Sasuke seeing Naruto as a brother and seeing Sakura as an annoyance, he would tell her to piss off, as this has nothing, as he doesn't want to sit next to her in that sense. With that pretty much being done and Sakura put in her place, she would sit down, being a little annoyed that Naruto didn't get up at her will, thinking that she's god over Naruto. With her also not really hating Naruto to some exception, because of Naruto not constantly asking her out for dates. With Naruto and Sasuke sitting down, Iruka would come into the classroom. With Naruto seeing that Mizuki isn't here, he would ask Iruka where he was, saying that Mizuki was a traitor to the village and that he was executed for trying to steal this scroll of ceilings. With the class now having shocked expressions on their faces, Iruka would start with the teams that would be orientated. With the original teams being the exact same, Naruto would be called to Team 7, with Sasuke and Sakura leading up behind him. With, I'll do this for, just plot convenience, that Sasuke and Sakura would go on the same team as Naruto, as I don't want to switch it up too much, as it wouldn't have any real effect on the plot. With that being said and done, Naruto's team would have to wait, as all the other genin that were assigned a sensei all left, with Kiba, Hinata, and Shino being the last to leave. Kiba would smirk, saying that the loser squad was given a loser sensei, and would go out the building, sticking his tongue out at the three, with Sakura being pissed off that the dog boy had tried to belittle her and her Sasuke, with Sasuke just giving Kiba the side-eye, and Naruto not really giving any expression at all, seemingly just unbothered with the entire situation. With a few hours going by, Naruto and Sasuke would start to talk to each other on what their sensei would probably be like, and how strong they would be able to become with the teachings of their sensei. With a few hours passing by, Kakashi would enter the building, telling the three that they need to meet him up on the top of the building right now, on the rooftop, and not to be late, with him flashing out of the entrance of the classroom. With the team immediately rushing out of the door, they would run up the staircase and onto the top of the building, with Kakashi telling everyone to give them their likes, dislikes, goals, and ambitions. Everything would pretty much be the same, except for Sasuke's and Naruto. I don't know why I said that. Sasuke's would be the same type of goals and ambitions, but his likes would include Naruto, and would include training with Naruto, with Sakura's being the exact same, and Naruto's being a little different than his original counterpart. Naruto would say that he wishes to still become the Hokage, not for the acknowledgement from the villagers, but in the sense that he wants to lead the villagers and lead Konoha to a better place. Some place that doesn't belittle people who were given a burden which he doesn't know of, but he just assumes that these people hate him for something either his parents did or a burden that was being placed on him, as well as his likes, including Sasuke as well, as they don't have a hateful friendship relationship, but a brother type relationship. Much like Giyuu and his teammate? I don't know, there's a teammate that died in the original. Anyway, with Kakashi saying that this isn't their final genin exam, and that they have an exam the next day, and would promptly tell them to not eat before flashing away. With Naruto, who was called later into the Hokage building, Hiruzen would stand before Naruto with a gift in his hand. Naruto would wonder what this is, with Hiruzen saying that he has a gift for Naruto passing the genin exam in the academy, and wishes to give Naruto this gift. Naruto opens the box and sees that it is a haori, I think that's how you say it, that was split down the middle in two different patterns, the right one being a solid red, which would signify Kushina, as this was one that was, given to her when she was younger, and on the left side, a geometrical pattern with squares of green, orange, and yellow, which symbolizes Minato's, one that he got when he was younger, which the third Hokage thought that this would be a perfect gift for Naruto, something that would bond both his parents and himself together while he is training in becoming a ninja. It would be the exact same as you see on screen right now, with the half and half, basically Giyuu's original look. With Naruto as well having the regular type of Demon Slayer uniform, with the button-down shirt and long pants, all that type of stuff, with Naruto's sword also in the hilt on his belt. With the next day coming around, Naruto wouldn't eat breakfast like he was told by Kakashi, and they would all meet at the exact time that Kakashi had told them to meet, but would still have to wait for the exact 3 hours that Kakashi would usually wait for. With Kakashi, after 3 hours passing by, Naruto would ask where he's been, and that they'd been waiting for a very long time, with a stoic appearance on his face, seemingly unbothered by the entire situation, but internally he was a little annoyed that their sensei was always letting them down and not having proper time management. With Kakashi saying that he found saw a black cat and had to take a different route, and when he took the different route, he had to go help an old lady carry her groceries to her house, and then as he was coming back, an old man asked him to help him paint his house. With all these ridiculous excuses coming around, Sakura would immediately yell out in a angry fashion to stop talking nonsense and let's just get on with the test so that they become proper genin at this point. With Kakashi explaining the genin test is that it's a survival test to grab these 2 bells, and that if they don't grab the 2 bells before the timer hits 0 from 1 hour, that they'll all pass. Sasuke would see that there's only 2 bells and ask Kakashi why there's only 2 bells if there's 3 of them here, with Kakashi saying that one of them will automatically fail. I know I by mistake said pass, but I meant fail. With Kakashi telling them all this, the team would get a little worried and a few sweat drops would drop from their face, realizing that there is a massive chance, or there's a 100% chance that one of them will fail this test. With Kakashi immediately starting the test, they would all rush off into the bushes, with Naruto and Sasuke going the same direction, and Sakura, seeing that the 2 are going in the same direction, would follow them. With Naruto and Sasuke, as well as Sakura now, discussing a plan on how they would be able to get the 2 bells. Naruto would say that they should all work together as a team, and Sasuke would also confirm on this. Internally, Sakura was screaming as she knew that Naruto and Sasuke are extremely powerful and that there's no way that she can compete with them, and that they're obviously going to pass and get the 2 bells, leaving her to become a academy student once again and not have a prized position, that being Sasuke and her on a team alone. With Sakura now realizing this, she would ask how they're going to fight Kakashi and who will get the bells. Naruto would say that they will discuss this later, as they don't really need to get in this now, and whoever does the best during this time would get the bells. With Naruto telling Sasuke that they need to use their breathing techniques, as well as Sakura to help distract Kakashi, in a sense, would devise a plan devise a plan of an attack. With Kakashi standing, kind of sitting on the ground, reading his Ichi Paradise, he would start to wonder what the 3 genin are actually doing. But before he could continue reading, a massive flash of fire would appear right in front of his face, and he would see that Sasuke had been launched up into the air, seemingly by someone with great strength, and was shooting a fireball jutsu right towards him. With Sasuke, who had launched the massive fireball jutsu at him, Kakashi would use a earth-style jutsu, that being mud wall, to defend against the fireball jutsu. But before he could fully defend against this, Naruto would come up behind him using his first form, Water Surface Slash, and Naruto, using his momentum from running up behind Kakashi, he would use a singular, powerful slash towards Kakashi, but as Kakashi's reactive speed is very fast, he'd be able to dodge Naruto, not being cut by him at all. With Sasuke as well, in the midair, he would use his first form as well, Unknowing Fire, and in the midair, he would dash towards, using the momentum from his falling of gravity. He would launch towards Kakashi, starting to gain momentum, and would try to, just cut Kakashi, aiming to decapitate him, as Kakashi did say at the beginning of this, to try kill him, as there would be no other way for them to get the bells at this type of stage in their gaining career, or ninja career. But with Kakashi being extremely skilled in all type of parts of being a ninja, he would immediately get out a kunai and block Sasuke's slash, but would see that there is a massive physical type of counter with the two of them, with Sasuke having great strength, being able to use his concentration breathing constant. I don't know why I said that. It's total concentration breathing. Anyway, with Sasuke, being physically strong, he would start to not overpower Kakashi, but be an even standstill. With Sakura also coming in, trying to fight Kakashi, Kakashi would kick Sasuke into Sakura, sending the two far away into the plain area where they are. With Naruto seeing this, he'd immediately rush up towards Kakashi using the second form, water wheel, in which he would leap up into the air and try to deliver a vertical. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. He would leap into the air and vertically spins forward in the air while releasing a flowing attack in a circular motion towards Kakashi, much like a wheel, a water wheel kind of, in the name. With Kakashi seeing that a water type jutsu is flying off the tips of Naruto's blade, seemingly like a waterfall, he would start to get a little dazed from this, as it kind of acts as a type of genjutsu, drawing the attention to the water instead of the actual blade and Naruto himself. With Kakashi stealing his reserve to defend against this, he would get out his kunai and try to defend against this attack, but would be overpowered as Naruto's momentum and physical strength would push Kakashi further down to the ground, making him lose balance, in which Sasuke, who had now regained balance and helped Sakura back up to her feet, would launch in back to Naruto using the first form, Unknowing Fire, once again. With Naruto and Sasuke charging at Kakashi at once, Sakura would also try to get in the fight, but wouldn't be to a much higher degree as the other two, as she's not proficient really in taijutsu or any type of fighting skills at all. With Kakashi now seeing that he has to defend against two people at once, both using different type of jutsus off their blades, he would try to defend using his kunais to defend, but thinking of a better idea, he would use the substitution jutsu, switching his place with a log, with Naruto and Sasuke both hitting the log and destroying it. With them both clashing into each other, the timer would stop. With an hour going by in a flash, after a few minutes trying to process a plan, and the plan actually trying to do the plan, it would end with the hour being finished. With Kakashi saying that the team had failed to retrieve the bells, he would tie up Sakura, who did the worst out of the three, to a log post and would tell them that they can have their lunch right now, and if they feed Sakura, that they would fail the exam and they would all be sent back, and he was only giving them one more chance. With Sakura being tied up to the pole in the middle of the field, Naruto and Sasuke would start to eat their lunch, but would stop as they hear Sakura's belly starting to grumble, with her getting a blush on her face from embarrassment. Naruto would see that she's hungry and immediately hand over some of his food to Sakura, attempting to feed her as her hands are tied up, with Sakura saying that Naruto would fail if he does give her the food, with Naruto saying that it's fine and that they would probably not be able to get the bells anyway, as Kakashi is extremely powerful. With Sakura then deciding to take a bite of the food, kind of thinking that Kakashi isn't there and he's wandered off somewhere else, Kakashi would immediately flash over to the two in a menacing aura and would say, "You all pass." With a eye smile, the team would be a little shocked, as they didn't realize that this would result in them passing. Kakashi would give his same explanation. In the ninja world, those who break the rules are scum. That's true, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. With the team now officially passing the Genin exam, they would all have a break and would all go off to their, just their homes. But, before they could, they would all go out to dinner to celebrate their comings to becoming an official ninja in Team 7. During the next 1 month period, Team 7 would go on their usual D-rank missions and would complete a high number of them, such as catching Tora, the Fire Daimyo's wife's cat. And with great proficiency at that, they'd be able to set a record for catching the cat. With many more D-ranks coming in and out of their service, Naruto, as well as Sasuke and Sakura, would start to get a little bored of these repetitive D-rank missions, and when going to get another mission from the Hokage, Sasuke would ask the Hokage if they could get a higher rank mission, that being a C-rank mission, with the third Hokage looking at Kakashi to see if, or get his opinion on the team and see if they are strong enough to do a C-rank mission, as they haven't done the necessary amount of D-rank missions, but are getting very close to it, as they have done a lot of missions in a short amount of period. With Kakashi noting that Sasuke and Naruto's strength overall are very proficient in caring for themselves on the battlefield, minus Sakura, who isn't very physically strong whatsoever, only in her mind. He would say that they are probably ready for a lesser C-rank mission. With the third Hokage now noting that this would be a good experience for Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, he would assign the bridge builder mission. Tazuna would come into the room, drunk as usual. He would immediately look over the team and see that the team looks very different to what he would usually expect. Looking over at Sasuke, he seems to be pretty moody all the time, and will start to make fun of him for being a moody type person, going over to Sakura, telling her that she has a massive forehead, which would greatly bother her as well. Lastly, looking onto Naruto, he would get a chill running down his spine. Naruto would be looking at him in a stoic and unbothered expression, basically staring into his soul. But this is, however, not what Naruto's thinking. He's just thinking what he's going to eat for lunch today, and if he's going to have time to eat lunch at all. But would just be staring out emotionlessly into Tazuna's general area, with Tazuna thinking that this is a very scary situation, that this boy looks like he's staring right into his soul and seems to be death himself. He wouldn't make fun of Naruto, and instead would say that this team is pretty good on its own, and he wouldn't mind getting another Jonin in if wouldn't be much trouble. With Hiruzen saying that there's no need, it's just a C-rank mission, he would send them all on their way. With the team packed and ready to go, they would all go out of the village's gates and would start their bridge protector mission, kind of just taking him back to the land of waves, as that was their mission. With Team 7 continually going on the path back to the land of waves, Naruto would notice that there is a puddle further down the road, as he's realized that it hasn't rained in a few days, as well as Sasuke and Kakashi picking up on this as well. Naruto would be exceptionally strong and knowledgeable about all type of water jutsus, and would notice that this is a type of hidden water jutsu, and would notice that there's definitely two people in that puddle. With Naruto immediately putting his hand on one of his blades, Kakashi would see this as well, noting that Naruto's sensory abilities are very, very strong, and would see that Sasuke has also picked up on this, but hasn't noticed that there are two people inside. And Naruto would look over to Sasuke, giving him a small signal, and then turning to Sakura, giving her a small signal as well. With Sakura not understanding what's happening, she would get a little nervous. With the two demon brothers jumping out of the water, they would immediately try to attack Sasuke and Naruto. But before they could do anything, Naruto would use the second form, Water Wheel, and would leap into the air, meeting where the brothers are, and would spin vertically forward into the air, and would release a flowing strike towards the two demon brothers, taking off one of their arms, with missing the other one, with Sasuke seeing that Naruto missed the other one, as Naruto had kind of not been ready to cut someone's arm off. He would have hesitated a massive bit, as Naruto was just aiming to slash the two demon brothers in half completely, realizing that he kind of, hesitated. He would have only been able to slash off one of the arms of one of the demon brothers. With Sasuke seeing this, he would immediately use the first form, Unknowing Fire, and would charge towards the other demon brother, and before the demon brother could swing at Naruto, his arm was also cut off. With the two demon brothers now missing one arm on each side of their bodies, they would start to wither in pain as they are losing a lot of blood. With them on the floor, immediately Sakura would scream, as well as Tazuna, in a high-pitched fashion, with Kakashi noting that the two were exceptionally strong and that Naruto seemed to hesitate, which was a kind of good thing for the boy, as he didn't want Naruto to be a bloodthirsty killer, and noted that the boy did have humanity. Also noting that Sasuke as well did hesitate a bit in trying to kill the man, also just going in and taking off one of the demon brothers' arms, with Sakura, kind of freaking out about this whole situation, not really noticing, or not really having the feel for blood in a sense, as it is very early in her ninja career. Kakashi would use his limited knowledge of a healing jutsu and would try to stabilize the two demon brothers, with them being kind of healed, still missing their arms of course, but the blood would have stopped gushing out. Kakashi would try to interrogate the two, getting as much information as they can out of the two, with them finding out that Tazuna had lied to them, and that a man called Gato had hired the two to take care of Tazuna. They would immediately been knocked out by Kakashi, now just on the side of the road, leaning against a tree, with Kakashi, who then interrogates Tazuna. Tazuna would explain their mishaps in the Land of Waves. I'm not going to go fully in it, as there's no real need. I will just skip to Naruto and Team 7 going off in the boat and landing in the Land of Waves, with Naruto and Team 7 landing into the other side in the, the country of the Land of Waves. They would immediately be attacked by Zabuza, as a giant sword would dash towards the Genin team, with Kakashi immediately telling the team to duck, and would grab Tazuna, pulling him down to the ground, with the blade swooshing right over all of the Genin team and into a tree. With a mist jutsu now coming into the mix, Zabuza would land on his sword and would start to blabber about how he will spare the team if they hand over the bridge builder. I would also note that Kakashi is there, and would start to praise Kakashi, wondering if he's a good opponent for Kakashi of the Sharingan, which would start to interest Sasuke, in which he would immediately yell up to Kakashi, asking why he has the Sharingan, or why he's named Kakashi of the Sharingan if he's not even a part of the Uchiha clan, with Kakashi telling Sasuke that he will tell him after the fight and after they get out of this situation. Kakashi would immediately take a defensive stance over Tazuna and Team 7 in a whole, with Naruto and Sasuke, who are exceptionally strong but not extremely strong. Kakashi would tell the two to step back and he'll have to deal with Zabuza, with the fight with Zabuza and Kakashi going pretty much the exact same, with Kakashi revealing his Sharingan and them using a water type jutsus against each other like the water style dragon. Kakashi would be trapped in the bubble, the water bubble, and would start to be losing his oxygen, holding his breath, with Naruto seeing there's no other option except to fight Zabuza, he would immediately use his fourth form, Striking Tide, in which he would dash towards Zabuza and would make multiple consecutive strikes and slashes while twisting his body as well as his sword in a flowing type fashion, and would deliver multiple blows, defeating his water clone as well as striking up on Zabuza, which would release Kakashi from the water sealing jutsu, with Sasuke, who didn't go into the battle, leaving it to Naruto as he needed to stay and protect Tazuna as well as Sakura. Kakashi would be released from his jutsu, and Kakashi would go off to face Zabuza once again. But like in the original, Naruto wouldn't continue fighting, and Kakashi would have to deal with the aftermath of the battle, with the fake Anbu member, that being Haku, coming down to where they are, shooting Senbons into Zabuza's neck and into his arteries to stop the type of blood flow and slow down his heartbeat to a near death-like state. He would tell the entire team that he is an Anbu member from the Blood Mist village, and that he was tasked with getting rid and killing Zabuza, and they need to take the body elsewhere. With Kakashi being extremely exhausted and not wanting to risk his team and put this team into any more danger, he would say that it's fine, and the Anbu member would take Zabuza away. With Kakashi now being drained, he would get Naruto and Sasuke to carry him back to Tazuna's house, in which Tazuna would be greeted by his daughter as well as his grandson Inari. With everything basically happening the exact same, there's not much going on in this arc, with the next day Kakashi teaching the three about chakra control exercises like water walking, which would be a further down the line, but mainly tree walking, in which he would use chakra control to walk up the tree with relative ease. With Sasuke and Naruto, who have a much better chakra control as they trained in chakra control exercises from a very young age, they'd be able to walk up the tree relatively fast, exactly like Sakura. With the Kakashi seeing that they have an exceptional chakra control, he would take the three to a nearby river, in which he would try to get them to water walk. With Naruto, who has very excellent chakra control, he'd be able to walk on the water first try, just like in the original after Jiraiya released the tightening of the seal. And Naruto would be able to walk on water with relative ease, with Sakura as well as Sasuke having a little more difficulty than Naruto. With Naruto going off into the woods to try, meditate, and train even more, he would run into Haku, who was collecting medical herbs for Zabuza to help heal him. With Naruto and Haku having their exact same encounter like in the original, Naruto would ask what Haku's doing there, in which he would say that he's looking for medicine herbs for someone that he cares for very deeply, and the same type of situation would happen. With the day ending and Naruto going back to Tazuna's house, the Naruto would all have dinner. Inari would scream at the four, saying that they will just die if they go and try to stop Gato. But with Naruto looking at the boy, tell him that there's no need to worry, as they are ninja, and this is what their job is supposed to be doing. They're supposed to protect people, and they have been hired to do so, and they will complete this mission, even if it costs them their life. With Inari seeing Naruto's willingness to help the village, he would get a newfound respect for the boy in front of him, or the young teen in front of him. With the next day coming around, Naruto would have decided to sleep in a bit, as Kakashi had told Naruto that he could sleep in, as Sasuke as well as Sakura are going off to help in the bridge building, and Naruto was off duty for that day. With Naruto sleeping in, Tazuna's daughter as well as his grandson was attacked by two of Gato's henchmen. With Naruto being there, Naruto would immediately use his first form, Water Surface Slash, in which Naruto, launching himself down the stairs, jumping off the walls, he would immediately, using his momentum to create a powerful slash against two of the men, cutting off both their arms as well as one of their legs, with them being basically incapacitated and bleeding out at this point. Naruto would look over at Inari as well as Tasuno, saying that they can close their eyes and go up upstairs, and he'll deal with this mess when he gets back, as he realized that Gato had probably sent 2 of his men to take care of or grab Tasuna's family to try and blackmail him into stopping the construction of the bridge. With Naruto dashing off to the bridge, as he knows where it is, he would see that Kakashi is facing off against Zabuza once again, and would see that the armor member which he saw yesterday was fighting Sasuke in a barrage of mirrors, seemingly an ice release jutsu. As Naruto had studied a lot about water type jutsus, he would have come across ice release and would have known a few of the jutsus as well as the incompletions, I don't know how it's said, of the nature release in total, or I think it's a Keiki Genkai. Anyway, Naruto would see that Sasuke is having a much better fight in the original, with Sasuke, who had now awakened his Sharingan, as well as using his flame breathing, the flames that are coming off of his blade, as well as him having a type of bright red blade. He'd be able to destroy and crack a lot of these ice mirrors, and would have a much better chance at fighting Haku, as well as using a few fire type jutsus, but those jutsus wouldn't have as much effect as his sword and his flame techniques. With Naruto seeing that Tazuna is being protected kind of by Sakura, he would leave her to continue doing that, and would instead go off to help fight the Anbu member. With Naruto dashing towards the ice mirrors, he would use his 7th form, Drop Ripple Thrust, in which he would launch himself as well as a sword, using an accurate stab on one of the ice mirrors, shattering it, going into where Sasuke. Use his 10th form, Constant Flux, in which off his blade of the continuous flowing attacks, a massive water type dragon would form off the ends of his blade and would increase his strength and power from each rotation that Naruto is doing, with all the ice Senbon and all the ice constructions that are shooting at Naruto and Sasuke, because of Naruto's 10th form and his constant attacks becoming stronger and stronger after each strike, and the rotation due to momentum. Naruto would be able to shatter and destroy a lot of the mirrors, as Naruto is also just attacking the mirrors, and would inevitably, with the help of Sasuke using a few of his flame breathing techniques, would launch Haku out of the ice mirrors and would destroy his mask in the event of the clash of blades against himself in the mirrors. With Naruto seeing Haku, someone that he had a deep conversation with the day prior, he would ask Haku why he is doing this, in which he would say that he is a tool for Zabuza and only a tool for him, with the end result in this entire situation happening the exact same as the original. Naruto would see that Haku has been impaled by Kakashi using his Chidori, and Zabuza, seeing that Haku is dead, he would immediately go and attack Gato, killing every single one there, with the mission being complete, and Naruto, who had struck a type of respect in all the people there, as well as Inari, the bridge would be named the Great Naruto Bridge. With this arc being complete, Naruto and Team 7, after the construction of the bridge, would head back to Konoha. So this is where I'm going to leave it off, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this longer episode. I tried to speed up a few things as they would go exactly like the original. So if you guys did enjoy this, please hit that like button and subscribe button. I'll see you guys later.